Radio Shouty.
Entrepreneurship and ownership, though, Dane. I feel like when you had that conversation on the Breakfast Club, man, and you said that you was doing it for your last name, it kind of was a catalyst in that direction for ownership and entrepreneurship in hip hop. I've seen a lot of people just really saying, you know what, it's time for me to start my media company. It's time for me to get off my ass and start really being about the business of having things out here. How do you think you impacted that? And what are your thoughts about people that still are not ready to embrace the new society that we're in?
They're gonna stay slaves. And that was my intention, was to affect. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I was disruptive in the way I said it, because I knew that people needed to hear it in that language. You know, you say things nice, for some reason, nobody listens. So you got to make somebody sometimes an example. It happened to be them, and they brought it on themselves at the time. But as you see, when I came back, they were exactly completely opposite down to their programming, the way they approach their life. So usually, you know, people don't like the truth, especially, you know, men. They don't like the truth. You know, they might not accept it in the moment. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did my job. So, you know, I care about people to a certain extent, but I can't care about you when you care about yourself. Mm-hmm. I can bring you awareness and I can leave you with that, but I'm up in the hills, bro. You know, I don't see it all here. I choose to help because I love myself. See, unless you love yourself, you don't know how to love nobody else, period. Thanks. You can't tell me how to love if you don't love yourself. Just like you can't tell me how to get money if you ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me to be at peace if you're not at peace. You want to help everybody else, but you drown it. I don't understand it. Focus on yourself so that you can really help somebody. And that's the problem with people. They try to use that shit as an excuse. So many people, I say, what's your dreams? Oh, to help people, but you crack broke. That your dream should be not to take care of your children and make sure your girl is taken care of. That's your dream, so that they never have to work. And then you go help everybody with the money you made. Yeah. But it shouldn't hurt you to help people.
Exactly. What do you think about accountability and responsibility in the game, though, Dane? Because, I mean, like you said, a lot of people are slaves, but they want to blame somebody else for that whole slavery system that they're in instead of being accountable and saying, you know what, I can break these chains.
You know, again, a person in this moment, it's a choice to be a slave because it's a mental thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you can listen and have somebody tell you what to do. You can be dependent on them to give you something. You can say, I'm going to go get it myself. Mm-hmm. It doesn't hurt me if you don't. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, bro, if you don't want it, you have to want it. Like, if you can't be aware, then, you know, that's on you. But it's but so much I'm going to care about, especially dudes. Like, I don't really care so much. If it's, you know, women, I'm like, all right, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll stay there, I have compassion. But for dudes, I'm like, yo, I'm sick of all of this talking to you nice. Pull your fucking skirt up and go be a fucking man. You know, that's what it is. You want to spit, say, humming and hawing, crying. Nobody want to hear that shit. Push past that. If you healthy, don't cry. If you're not in jail, don't cry. If you're not dead, don't cry. You know, we cry when people die, but everybody dies. We supposed to cry, we supposed to push on. It ain't, oh, why me? Everybody goes through some shit. It's how cool everybody deals with it. Ain't nothing somebody, like, when I have a problem, I look at everyone else's, I'm like, this ain't a problem, period. I got my homies in jail, niggas is dying, motherfuckers got COVID. I can breathe, I'm free, I'm good. Because whatever's wrong, I can make it right. As long as I can fix it, I'm good. But I ain't gonna worry about something. I just don't worry, I don't like it. I think the world is controlled by fear. Fear is the dream killer. That's what's implemented in us to stop us from moving forward. Because everybody, I don't want to do it cuz. It ain't no cuz. Do it.
Exactly. How do you feel like technology is impacting, you know, the ability for folks to go out here and be, you know,
it's everything. It's everything. It cut out the middleman. I'm telling you, once I saw the internet, that's when I said, fuck the music business. And I started making content. I'm like, y'all can stay on this Titanic if you want. Yeah. It's going to be all work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas is trays right now. Y'all deuces. It's too fucking crowded. You know, I don't like hustling on a crowded block. You feel me? I like to be the first one with it, and I can sell as I want. Right now, I'm wait. You know what I'm saying? Period. I'm Pablo with the content because I know how to do it. Exactly. Nobody knows how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Creating that content early on, though, Dane, when you saw that gap and you said, okay, I got to go ahead and get up through here. What was it that was going through your mind at that time when you said, okay, I got to learn this too? Because, I mean, you're coming from an analog age going into this digital age now.
Well, first, I learned to let other people learn for me. You know, you got to outsource a lot of things. Thanks. So, you know, being the first person to do things is not always the best because you make the mistakes and you end up paying for it. So, you know, I'm quite sure Facebook wasn't the first stop. It was, what was that first one everybody was doing before Facebook? What was that shit?
MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ain't here no more, but they was the first, but they gone. So I'm sure Facebook learned from all their mistakes and then came back harder, pause. So I knew the game, but I was like, I'm gonna just lay. I'm gonna just get really sophisticated at making content, because at the end of the day, if I ain't got no bullets, the gun don't matter. You feel me? So I had to make the bullets and get good at making the bullets so somebody else can make the gun for me. That's what I looked at it like.
That's right. That's right. Now, speaking of that content as well, you know, that Forbidden Knowledge with Billy Carson, man, that was kind of real deep right there now, Dame. Talk to me about this futuristic stuff you on.
Well, I mean, really, it's not even futuristic because all of it is in ancient text. The stuff they don't tell us in all ancient texts that you see is that there was an intergalactic space war. Motherfuckers, Anunnakis camped out on Mars, went to Earth to mine for gold for the atmosphere, turned human beings, genetically modified them to make them slaves to build for them, started smashing the women, so fell in love with them. Two brothers that was running shit. One was like, fuck them, but one had a baby with one of them. And they were like, look, flood them out, man, because they're not right. That's what it was, because they was just actually evolving them. They were just they was going to flood everybody out. He's like, nah, they good. Mm-hmm. And he had a son named Noah, and then he gave him a spaceship with the DNA of all the animals, and so on and so forth. Now, this is in text. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's in the emerald tablets. It's in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Mm-hmm. It's in so many hieroglyphics everywhere you see. It's, you know, basically I know too much. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And, you know, we're in the Matrix, bro. It really are.
What went through your mind when you started becoming inundated with all of that information, though? Dang, you sitting over there, you thinking to yourself, okay, we raised in a regular Christian house and all of this extra stuff, but then this new information comes in and kind of changes the way that you see the world in general.
I always saw it like that. It just validated my thoughts, you know? Since I was 19, I had an uncle on my arm. I never believed in white Jesus. I just never did. Mm-hmm. I didn't care. It just didn't make sense to me. I'm just a logical person, and I just always in my brain would be like, but it took place, it didn't take place in Europe. I don't understand. It's not cold. You know, it didn't make sense to me. I always, you know, I read the Bible. Yeah. But it just, there's things in there that just, you know, I could tell you stories about it, but we'd be here all day. But, you know, Bishop Purnell, he knows the history of that work of the scriptures. Mm-hmm. And it's facts. It's not emotion. Mm-hmm. It's not a feeling. It's in text. Mm-hmm. You know, so when you start to see things that, I'm like, I knew this shit ain't make sense. But think about it. Honestly, if you're really born and you think God is white, what are you really going to think about yourself?
You ain't going to feel good about yourself at all.
And that's us. That's the racism that comes into play, and we still doing it. You know? So I understand about faith, but you got to say the right name and understand who gave us the name to say. You can't trust your oppressor, bro. If your oppressor gives you anything, you can't trust it. So if I'm a slave, I don't trust nothing master gave me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Period. And if they gave it to me, I know it was to make me still be a slave. They ain't gonna give me nothing to empower me.
Yeah. No, those are facts. When you out here telling people this stuff and sharing your information, and then also when you have your own network to disseminate all of this good information, what is the reaction and what is the reception of it, Dang?
It's all positive, really. I don't hear negative.
Yeah.
You know, if you're scared, don't come see me. Because, you know, like, if you're a brave person, do you hear punk? Mm-mm. I don't hear scared people, bro. That's a different language. I talk boss. I don't talk slave. If you ain't talking in boss, it's just Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. That's all it is.
Speaking of boss talk, man, you and Master P got together on the network as well and kicked a little flavor in that thing. Can you speak to me about being a father? Because, I mean, y'all were talking about personal stuff and just regular life in general. What was it like for you coming up in the game, having this ultra successful career and still trying to be folks' daddy at the same time?
It was my son, Boogie. Mm-hmm. I raised Boogie, like, meaning I went to court and had custody of him since he was 8. So I was a single father, and it was fly, you know. I always looked at myself like a rock star, and being a good father, that's what really made me a rock star. Yeah. You know, just pulling up to school and my shit and him making him proud. I loved every moment of it. So I like, and still am. I'm still currently kind of hot. So like my kids get to feel all that. Like, damn, Because you know your kids, you're not famous to your kids.
Mhm.
Like my children didn't think I was famous. They never think I'm famous while they give me no props, bro. It's really funny. And when the only time they start realizing is when I go outside, but I'm not outside that much. And they be like, you know him? And I be like, no. And then, yeah, all right. Like really, I'm like, why you think? And they don't really know what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my daughter Ava is just learning because she got to spend some time with me on with Kanye on the ranch, but and she got to see how I move. That was her first time really seeing what I am. But to her, I'm like a big kid.
That's crazy. Now you were talking
Like,
about.
imagine really having me as a dad.
So, is it? It should be off the damn chain.
Ask my kids. But the thing is, like with Boogie, you know, he had more. Like right now, he's more happy with. He's upset about the way I treat him as an adult, not as a kid. Because sometimes when you baby your kids, they want to stay kid, but you can't enable your children. You got to push them out. You're
Right.
there for them, but you know, after a certain age, you got to be. You're not daddy no more. You dad. You still dad. I'ma still be there. But for me to not let you be a man would be. I'm taking everything for you because ain't nothing better than being a man. Nothing feel better than being a real man. This shit is priceless. I don't care how much money you got. If you got to give up your manhood for it, you broke. But if you a real man, you embrace your thoroughness. You embrace always doing things right. You embrace making sure you took care of your family. That's what I'm proud of, is that I take care of people. And if you only worried about the fact you took care of yourself, and that's all you worried about, you're never really going to have success. Because really all you're supposed to be fighting for is love. I fight for love. You know, like some people around me be like, yo, you kind of scary sometimes. I'm scary for you, not against you. You know, to protect love, to have some scary because you got to protect. But I also got puppies around me and flowers and everything else. I'm only in fight mode when it's time to fight, but I'm only fighting for peace. There's always war before peace when you got to have some change. Exactly. So I go do the war, I get in the ring, but then the rest of the world is vacation for me, bro.